see. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. There we go. Should work. Yeah, sorry. No Dota coaching. We're not we're trying to pretend we don't play Dota anymore. Because it's destroying my life. Oops. Let's do this. Okay, cool. Hopefully everybody can hear everything now. And yeah, so let's just get started. I did a whole intro, but yeah, welcome to Whetstone Wednesday, the only place on Wednesdays where you, lovely viewer, can have your copy critiqued for fun and pain. Let me just pull up this first window. Share. All right, great. Warren, if you're here, by the way, you submit a copy to be critiqued, but your document is not viewable publicly. So please give me access so that I can read it. All right, let's see. Who's this first one from? Believe this. Yeah, so this first one is from Mr. Nguyen, and he wrote a product copy page for my Finding the Constellation Masterclass. If you guys want to see this, we can go to the Copy That website. Somewhere on here. Oh, here we go. No, there's more than 3. I just pulled up 3 at first. So if we run out of stuff to do, we will figure out something to do. So basically, I did a masterclass a while back about studying copy and how to study copy, how to get more out of the time you put into it, because there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. And so whether you're beginner, you're intermediate, you're more advanced, different approaches you can take to sort of get the most out of the time you spend studying copy every day. So Tree was nice enough to write a new page for it because ours is shit. And like all great copy submitters, he kind of gave us some guidelines. So I'm going to read this. He was nice enough to create a wireframe so that we have a sense of design elements he wants to use, that he stole from Cody. So way to give credit. Good job. His reader is copywriters who understand why reading copy is key to honing their craft, but who also find it tough or just don't know how to read copy that really benefits them. Cool. He changed the title to Steal the Eyes of the Copywriting God, and then has a different image because he thinks it's more interesting and also suits the idea better. Perfectly reasonable. He added some CTAs. We like that. Or CTA nudges. And he has, I guess, he submitted this before and he is revising. Great. Okay, cool. So let's just go through it. Steal the Eyes of the Copywriting God, a masterclass on studying copy. If you've been trying to study copy and find yourself saying, what the heck? What on earth am I even supposed to be looking for? This is for you. The reason you're facing challenges in understanding copy is because you're not searching for the right elements. Lucky for you, in this masterclass, Rod has developed a unique LSC method to help you identify crucial aspects often overlooked when studying copy. With this masterclass, you will, 1, no longer feel confused or unsure about making sense of copy ever again. 2, start spotting the hidden language and pattern behind any piece of copy, something only expert copywriters can notice. 3, understand what any piece of copy is doing, why it's effective, how it evokes emotions. So if you wish to have the ability to analyze any piece of copy to quickly improve as a copywriter, then join Rod Satterwhite in this 40-minute masterclass and discover his bulletproof method for consistently breaking down and analyzing copy. Presenter, me, time, deliverable, bonus lesson, Patreon push, love it. Purchase button, love it. Cool. And so it looks like he also took some screenshots of the masterclass that he's watched and broken down some of this cool stuff. Cool. So let's look at this first before we move on to the rest of it. Well, so we have not picked one yet, but Tree has written a page for it. You're welcome to submit copy. The worst case scenario is that you submit it and we've already selected one and I just review your copy and you get better copywriting. So that's still a win. But maybe also his page sucks and then, we pay you instead. So cool. I like this setup. I think there's some small things I would tweak, but I think the structure you've chosen here is good. So very first thing you're doing is having this audience call out, saying, hey, is this you? Just to get that reader to buy in. Where I think sometimes we'll call these micro agreements, where basically you'll get someone to sort of say like, oh yes, I agree with that thing. Or I'm saying yes to this part of the copy, just to get them a little bit more invested and feel like, that the reader feels like you're talking to them specifically, which is fantastic. I would consider changing the language here. What the heck? What on earth am I even supposed to be looking for? To something a little bit more specific. I think the experience of reading copy for a lot of people, especially when you're new, is like, okay, maybe what am I looking for, or what's important here, or what am I supposed to be studying about this? Which you pick up on here, but maybe like on a little bit deeper level, like, oh, why is it that I'm supposed to be studying this piece as opposed to that piece or something? You could break that out into a couple different quotes, or like you could say like, do you ever find yourself saying this or this? Then this is for you. But in theory, I like this. And then you give a reason to justify why they're feeling the way they do. Fantastic. The bullets are cool. I think this is a great benefit. Start with hidden language, battery. Good intrigue. And number 2. Number 3, this third one, understand what any piece of copy is doing, why it's effective, and how it evokes emotions. I think is pretty good, but one way you could push it even further is to talk about why someone might care about that or what they can do with that. And so even something as short as like in how you can apply that to your own copy or something helps take that from just like a fun sort of understanding thing to actionable information that will benefit them, that will benefit the reader. It's a little clunky to me. I like the notion of then summarizing, like, oh, so if you want to be able to analyze any piece of copy, but these ellipses are a little awkward to me. I'd consider like you could even just say or and something. And then this last sentence I think is good in concept. But again, just like this bullet here, make it a little bit more obvious what the benefit to the reader is. Obviously, I think it's great if people are discovering my bulletproof method for consistently breaking down and analyzing copy, but imagine you are someone who doesn't know how to do this. What is the benefit that's going to bring them? What are they going to be able to do differently? How much more time are they going to have? How much more understanding are they going to have? When you're having this sort of like summarizing push, make sure that it's pushing towards the benefit the reader is going to experience, not just what it is they're literally buying. I like all this stuff. Love the Patreon push. This nudge is fine. I don't know if it's doing a ton though, but again, like I don't think it's distracting from anything because it's at the end, so I think it's okay to leave that. As for the copy on this right here, I would definitely consider changing this because they're not watching me break this down in real time exactly, because it's in the past, so it's not like current time. Um, and there's probably a better way of positioning me than just high level copywriter. Not that like I'm super high copy god, but um, what is something that's going to be more relevant to the audience? And maybe you end up thinking that like high level copywriter is the most like salient thing to somebody, and that's fine. But I just spend a minute or two thinking about, is there a better way to do that? Because it feels a little something to me. Is a high level copywriter like who we look to for advice? Yeah. I also agree with Runaway Train here. I think I like the short sentences. Um, I think it's a good way of kind of having like punchier writing, especially if they're very concise, not a lot of fluff. But it's also good to like break things up, to mix things up, so don't have only short sentences. I largely think the way you've written this is pretty good. Um, Thank you, Warren, for granting me access to your page. Don't fuck that up again. Okay, cool. So part two. And just to like kind of say this at the top, because I know not everyone has seen these or is familiar with these pages before. These are the product pages for our masterclasses. And so basically there is this beginning part where there's the title of the class, price, quick little description. That is supposed to just be like, hey, here's a summary. If you're familiar, you want to buy this, hey, click quickly. Just this is why you're here. Buy the thing, details, quick, great purchase button. And then part two, there's a break, and then there's more of like a little mini sales page where they're giving like a real sales argument for it for someone who isn't familiar with it or still needs more convincing. So the part we're about to go into now is that secondary salesy part. So in just 40 minutes, you will discover successful Nike copywriter's unique LSC approach. Just off the bat, you definitely can't position me as Nike copywriter because factually, I don't work as a copywriter right now. And I don't work exactly for Nike. Nike's a client of the business I work for. So someone might be like, oh, technically he doesn't work for Nike. I think like what you're going for here is fine, but just on like a factual level, always make sure that you're checking with people. Hey, is this title appropriate? Does this work? Is this true? Because you don't want to accidentally publish something that's not true and have your client or like a company that you're representing in your headline reach out and be like, oh, definitely take this down or we're going to sue you, because that's a bad feeling. Yeah, so in just 40 minutes you will discover the unique LSC approach, allowing you to easily decipher the secrets behind any successful copy with only 3 steps. I like this headline. So in just 40 minutes, so it's very short, discover new information. You have this unique mechanism. And the benefit of discovering this new thing is you will easily decipher the secrets behind any successful copy with only 3 steps. So it's simple. Successful copy, so the best stuff. I think this is good. If I wanted to push on anything in this, it's not entirely clear to me that this is about studying copy, but I imagine that you're going to get into that. And so, if there were a way to like tweak this, maybe like steal, I don't know, but just like a small call out. So, revealed Rod's exotic 3-stage LSC approach. I don't think I've ever seen the word exotic used to describe a copywriting technique, but I love it. Most people find it challenging to understand copy because they often overlook the 3 fundamental layers present in every piece of copy. If you fail to recognize these layers while reading, it means you're not really getting the hang of studying copy effectively. Of course, identifying even one of these layers can be quite difficult. That's why with Rod's LSC approach that he never shared before, studying copy becomes a cakewalk, because in this masterclass, Rod will show you exactly how to identify and understand those challenging 3 layers with only 3 steps. Step 1, spot out the literal layers in the piece of copy. Step 2, find the structural layers in a piece of copy. Step 3, figure out the conceptual layers in a piece of copy. Now, how can I be so sure these 3 steps, this 3-step method works? Well, major corporations like Nike are paying a hefty amount of money to Rod for his marketing / copywriting ability. And how do you think Rod became such an amazing and successful copywriter? It boils down to the fact that Rod analyzes and studies copy every single day. By using the exact LSC approach you're about to discover in this masterclass, I mean, this is the very process Rod swears is, quote, the biggest accelerator of my personal growth as a copywriter. I did say that. But don't take it from me or Rod. See it for yourself. I kind of like this. I like this transition. What you'll get in this 40-minute training brimming with value. And so we have some bullets. Here's how to get an A-grade copy delivered, or delete this. Here's how to get A-grade copy delivered to your inbox every morning at no cost, so you can just focus on studying and improving yourself as a copywriter. 2, the secrets of BFN revealed. This is the best type of copy to study as a newbie if you want to quickly improve as a copywriter. I have no idea what BFN is, but it sounds great. The single most thing you have to extract from every piece of copy. If you can't grasp this one thing, you'll definitely struggle to break down copy. For this one, I think I like how this starts, because you've been talking about breaking down, studying copy so much. I think you need to remind people that there's like a tangible thing at the end of it. There's a reason why they're studying. And so instead of saying you'll definitely struggle to break down copy, I would pivot more towards like, you'll struggle to break into the industry, to have some sort of good result, to get jobs, to write great copy. Like, what is the thing that happens if they are struggling to even break down copy? Just a suggestion. Discover Rod's one simple trick that makes analyzing sales letters less challenging, a trick even top copywriters might not be aware of. This will cut down 10 to 20% of your time analyzing copy, especially sales letters. I like this. This 10 to 20% number, though, is a little bit... I think we could do better than that. And the reason why I say that is because, like, I don't know what 10 to 20% of my time feels like or looks like. If you said 50%, that's a lot. That just feels like intuitively large. But 10 to 20% could be, 5 minutes, or that could be an hour. And so I would say, can we make this like a more tangible thing? Can we say this will save you 30 minutes a day studying based off of like how often you think, or how often I say in the video that you should be studying copy every day. If you could say, this will give you an hour of your life back, that's something I think people will feel and intuitively understand. Oh, that's a lot of time. So just try to think of some ways to make that number bigger. Then Agora Financial's #1 backend copywriter in 2020, our lovely Sean MacIntyre, will show you the 30 most common structural elements that you need to identify in any sales letter. Once you put these elements to work, comprehending how all successful sales letters work will be a walk in the park. Along with LSE method, Rod also demonstrates the application of these theories through live analysis of famous copy pieces. More details at times. This is clunky. I understand what this means. I love big words. I love fancy shit, but I think for the average reader, this is going to feel a little difficult. Because you could also just say, Rod will also demonstrate how to apply these techniques using famous copy examples. That is, way simpler, and more people are going to understand that. And so I think even when we like using big, precise, wonderful words, remember that most of our audience does not like reading them, or it's going to take them more effort to read them. And so when you can, try to use that simpler language. Yeah. And then okay, I don't know what this is. Uncover the one foundational question that all good piece of copy must answer. If you know what it is, then you can identify whether or not a piece of copy works in an instant. That's a great bullet. And much, much more. I'm actually really curious what I said. To help you even more, we've got a juicy bonus for you valued at $15 when you join this masterclass right now. And the best part, you're just a click away from this lovely trove of wisdom. Look, you and I both know that if we want to write copy that sells like crazy over and over, everything starts with reading brilliant copy every single day. But reading fantastic copy without the power to dissect it is like having a vault full of treasure and not a single clue on how to crack it open. This is a great analogy. That's why Rod designed this masterclass, to show you how to smoothly deconstruct any piece of copy, so you'll never feel confused or uncertain whenever you lay eyes on copy ever again. What are you waiting for? Hit that button below to snag Rod's personal LSC approach arrows purchase order form. Cool. Just want to go back up to this part. So I think there's a bigger concept here we can talk about that is worth thinking about and will help a lot of people maybe conceptualize what they're doing when they're writing copy, especially these longer form copy. So when you have a product, you are selling the product. And I think the most obvious step is, okay, let's say I have this masterclass. I know it answers, how do you study copy, right? So I'm going to say, hey, here's this masterclass. It's on studying copy. That's like level one. And we definitely have to do that because the people who are, who would benefit that are looking up, they're searching the internet, how to study copy. However, lots of people are selling products like this. And this goes for any niche. You're always going to have competitors. And so, yes, you absolutely need to answer the most obvious question of like, okay, what is this thing literally? However, that's not enough. And what that means for your copy is that, yes, you start with, hey, this is what this thing literally is, but you need to take your reader on a journey of, okay, you think you're just doing this, but really you're doing this other thing that's much deeper, much more important, is going to benefit you much more than this thing you think you're looking for. So to use this as an example, or use this masterclass as an example, yes, we're starting with, hey, these are these three techniques or these three levels at which you can study copy. But the value in you knowing how to study copy is not just that you can read copy and get the most out of it. It's you're going to be able to write copy better, which means that you are going to be able to, have quality copy sooner, which means that you're going to get clients sooner, which means you're going to get better clients sooner, which means you're going to be making more money, which means you're going to be more fulfilled as a person, which means you're going to, get the supercar and the spouse of your dreams, which means you're going to live in happiness for all of eternity, right? We need to slowly take our readers through that journey, because when somebody is starting off in their copywriting career or any kind of career or is looking at any sort of product, it's not always intuitive how investing in that product is going to transform their life. And so we need to spend time in our copy, leading them through that transformation. So I think the way in which that shows up for me in this piece of copy is like, at the beginning of this, we are talking about, studying copy. We're talking about the LSC approach. That's great. And I think at the end, you kind of get into, this is the biggest accelerator of my personal growth as a copywriter. But I think this middle part where you're kind of throwing in these details about like my career and how I got to be so great, we could definitely use this space as an opportunity to walk that person through. Hey, and once you know how to do this, that's going to mean less. You can study for less time, or you'll get more out of that time, which means your copy will see improvements or whatever. Talk about how that's going to show up in their life, in the reader's life, not just in my life, because we're all great. But at the end of the day, no one's going to be buying this masterclass because they care about my story, as sad as that is to say. So some notes on the actual copy here. This part, I would just like delete this because you are teasing this LSC approach. You're saying this thing, it's a proprietary thing. And when you are talking about all the benefits it gives, but people don't know what it is, it feels big, it feels mysterious, it feels like, oh my God, I got to find out what that is. If you straight up tell people what it is in the copy, someone has the ability to read this and be like, oh, I can do that on my own. I don't need to buy this masterclass, or this seems really obvious. We both know that I talk about a lot more in the class and why these things matter and how to do this. And so, there is still a benefit to that person. But when you just reveal what the trick is in the copy, you're taking away a lot of the impulse or intrigue people are going to have about the product, which decreases their likelihood of buying. And so definitely just like straight delete this. Again, on like the proof points and stuff, make sure you're verifying claims, because like, I think also it's like the way in which we represent things, even if they're factually true, can be misleading or can be like a little bit can feel misrepresenting. And so, for example, like when you say that Nike is paying me a hefty amount of money for my marketing / copywriting ability, there's probably a level in which this is like literally true, but it sounds like I'm an independent contractor that Nike is consulting, that is consulting for Nike, and Nike is just writing a check to me personally because I'm so awesome. And that part's not true. And so when you want to say things like this, definitely check in with your sources. Make sure that that's like going to sound all right. Make sure the person's comfortable with you saying that, because if you don't, then you end up writing things where the person's like, ooh, I don't know about that. And then it kind of fucks with your copy. But yeah, I think this is good. Definitely go back and like think about some of those critiques I made, and I'd love to see this again. I think next time we can go through it a little bit more quickly and see where this lands. But I think the page is designed well. It's clear you've watched the masterclass, and so I like it. I just want to see like that extra step and go a little bit deeper on it. Cool. So that's one down. Nabil asks, can we still submit copy to critique? Yes, you can, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it all today because I have a little bit less time than normal. So we'll see where we get, but it would probably have to be for next week, unless someone else hops on the stream today, which I don't think they will. But yeah, moving on. We're going to go to Warren's copy. Can we see that? Okay, cool. So, Mr. Warren, you've got a landing page, work in progress. He wants a critique to on top of page down to FAQ section. What else would we like to see here? He's going to add trust badges. We're not going to steal his data. Step-by-step disclaimer is cool. What is this? I guess this is the product. Wait, Warren, do you want me to critique this page or the page with the link? Let me see. Probably this other page. Okay, cool. So yeah, okay, so from there to the FAQ, cool. All right, so if you use an at-home ancestry service, you've already got the keys. Gene research reveals a counterintuitive approach that optimizes energy and focus based on your DNA without changing your diet, while also improving overall health, lowering caffeine dependency, and stabilizing your moods. Definitely mood, singular. This feels like a lot. So if you've done this, cool. really, so we're focusing on this. So gene research reveals, so authoritative thing reveals unexpected way to optimize your energy and focus, customized to you without thing you hate. I feel like there's a lot of like stuff here. And so the main point you have, which is like the counterintuitive approach that optimizes your energy and focus, gets lost in just the amount of other things you're saying here. And so I feel like taking away a little bit would help focus, would help center this main benefit here that will actually get someone to read it. Because if they miss this kind of middle part, they're not going to continue reading just based on, just like simply off of the, well, it's based on my DNA without changing my diet, this kitchen sink of stuff. So I think just practicing a little bit more, like, hands off, not discernment. Forgetting the word, but like just a little bit less here, like would make this stronger, even though you're like missing some, or you're losing some of this. I'll also be curious to see like in the actual body copy, how much is like the based on your DNA or the without your changing your diet coming up, or like this stuff. Because if these things aren't major components, then I'm gonna be like, well, we just nix this, because it's just like you're just trying to hook people on them. Yeah. So let's see. Only a few days left. This offer expires. This is interesting. I've never seen a VSL like this, with like this thing just on the side. I'd be interested in hearing from Sean, like how this tests, if he's tested this all. So, can we hit play on this? We can. Okay. So, what is the DNA stack report? Sorry, this already feels weird. So, you're saying all this stuff, and then you go straight into what is the DNA stack report, but I've never heard of the DNA stack report. So, this question of what is it feels kind of out of nowhere, and I'm gonna need a very strong like connector. I don't know. Like I think a better headline here would be something that's like playing off of this, like the one genetic test that reveals everything about your personalized health, or something like that. Because having read this like, is the report the research? Is the report something else? Like I know what you're talking about, but I think for the average reader, it's like the connection there is not nearly clear enough, or at least as clear as it could be. So yeah, DNA stack report is a counterintuitive approach to personalized health optimization that allows you to unlock levels of energy and focus you never thought possible. We achieve this by analyzing the raw DNA data you already have from your at-home ancestry service. We pinpoint specific nutritional needs and genetic predispositions unique to you and develop a personalized supplement report for you. As a result, no more afternoon slumps, no more brain fog, no more losing battles to your cravings. This is the DNA stack report. A lot of interesting stuff in here. So, one, is just an observation. I have no idea what the hell counterintuitive means in this context. Like, does it mean that other doctors hate it? Is the idea of using your genetic testing to inform your health decisions really counterintuitive at this point? I don't know. But worth thinking about, because I don't really know what that word is doing. I think if you were to go with like a different headline, like what I suggested above, like just like something that connects here, like the test or something like that, that would then let you lead with like, what if something you already had, like what, like you could say something like the key to unlocking levels of energy and focus you never thought possible is probably lying on your desk. And then instead of saying like, this is what this literally is, you can then go to like, yes, your at-home ancestry thing is this key to blah, 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 blah. Because it lets you pinpoint the stuff, yada, yada, yada. Or maybe I guess you start with this. So it's like, what if the key to unlocking this was already on your desk? Yes, the only thing you need to never again have afternoon slumps, no more brain fog, no more losing battles, whatever, is right there. If only you knew what it was. More intrigue. Then you go into one counterintuitive approach, blah, 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 uses that thing on your desk to whatever. Because it uses the raw DNA. So I think just like restructuring it a little bit, because this, like, what is this thing? What I've never heard of this thing before is like not particularly compelling. So the DNA stack report is a shortcut. Before I created the DNA stack report, I was struggling with my own health and wellness journey for years and was on the verge of giving up. I think just already at the beginning of this, I feel like when you go into this sort of like personal journey thing, you need to introduce who you are at some point. I guess this probably exists in the VSL, but to me, the purpose of this copy on this page is for the people who aren't reading it, who aren't reading the VSL. So you need to like have a section on like who this person is, why they're talking, your stereotypical picture of them in like a doctor's jacket or scientist robe or whatever, so that people can at least know who you are. Be like, oh yes, I'm Dr. Ramaswamy or whatever. Because here I'm like, who is I? Who created this thing? Why do I care they were struggling? Because I don't know. Like, what were they able to achieve because they got over their struggling? If I know you turned into like a famous researcher doing genetic testing, that's really, really impressive. But if it's like, I don't know, you work at McDonald's, that's less so. But let's keep going. So as long as I remember, if something was wrong, some days my energy levels would be off the charts. Other days I felt like I needed a gallon of coffee to get through the day. I literally tested hundreds of supplements. And when I say tested, I mean I tried everything. And some of it worked and some of it didn't. Most of it didn't. I think this would be a really good opportunity to like go a little bit deeper and like push that pain point and talk about what it's like, the amount of money you're spending, the side effects you're experiencing, whatever. Because to trying everything, that's like years of your life probably you're spending trying it. And so there's a lot of pain in that, beyond even the frustrating of not having your problem fixed. That probably your audience, I think it will resonate with your audience. After all of that, I decided to start looking into my DNA, because if supplements work, then there is something that allows them to work, which is your DNA. There's a stronger way to do this. I don't think it's logic. This logic is probably literally true, but I'd say something like, I'd flip it. I'd be like, with all the improvements to genetic testing, blah, 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 or predictive health, I figured the only way because I couldn't fix it from the outside, I decided to go to the source, DNA. So knowing this, I figured I could fix my DNA with the right supplements. I'd be able to unlock better performance. Here's what I discovered. I cannot read this as anything other than motherfucker. I have a motherfucker mutation. Turns out 60% of the population has it. Probably more. And maybe you have it too. The motherfucker mutation means that my body is methylating about 50% of its normal capacity. Unless certain nutrients are present, your energy levels, mental clarity, etc., will be affected. I'd say how. I don't know if there are some like regulatory guidelines around this, but like if you can say, will be negatively affected, will have take a catastrophic hit, blah 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 blah. Make it sound like you have make clear the connection between your understanding of this mutation and the side effects that someone's experiencing, so that the question of, oh, do I have this mutation, gets linked to, oh, my life feels like shit because I have no energy or focus. Therefore, I need to know if I have this. Therefore, I need to get this test done. Because of the motherfucker mutation, my body can't process normal folate. Folate converts into B4, and B4 converts into serotonin, which affects mood. Also explains why the weather affected me so much. I think this is like a little complicated, and so I would break this down a little bit or explain more. Like I'd say like vitamin B4. So like my body can't process normal folate, and because folate converts into vitamin B4, the vitamin responsible for serotonin levels, that means my mood is not as stable as it could be. My mood is not as good. My mood is not whatever. Find the phrasing. Which is one of the biggest reasons why I've suffered so much from the bad weather. You can probably say seasonal affect disorder, or like I get so sad when it's cloudy or whatever. There's probably a way to talk around that. The body requires 50% of its methylation in order to create creatine. When you have a motherfucker mutation, your creatine levels go down, which is why I had gut issues. Gut needs creatine for motility. I don't think the word motility is helpful here. There's probably like a more visceral word for that would resonate more with people, like upset stomach, hard time going to the bathroom, whatever. How do we get here? Here's what I discovered. And then 5, all of your energy systems are down by about 50%. This feels kind of flat compared to how like robust the rest of these things are. And so even if it's just like all of your energy systems are at a baseline suffering by 50%, which explains why my life has been so terrible in these 3 ways. Just to flesh out and be like, what does it mean to have 50% less energy? Yeah, sorry guys. I've ruined the copy. Scientists are literally calling me a motherfucker because of my coffee addiction. It's true. Yeah. So my theory is that since 60% of the population has it, it's no wonder we're all drinking Red Bulls and Monster energy drinks and drowning in coffee, myself included. Now, what's really interesting here is if you do have this mutation, you can't fully process synthetic folate or other synthetic vitamins, which are found in everything. So eating the wrong foods can take your energy levels, mess with your focus and your mood. I think this is a good opportunity to say like, take your energy levels even more, because what you're saying is like, if you have the mutation at a baseline, you're suffering, and then the things you're doing to try to fix it naturally aren't going to be effective, and so then you're suffering even more because you're doing more and you're not getting more, yada yada yada. And so you're kind of saying the things you're trying, reader, are not working because you have this thing and don't know it. I think, by the way, I think this line is really cool, like explaining the world through the lens of your argument. Very smart. So after working with the genetic scientists, or with a geneticist, to develop what eventually became the first DNA stack report, I'm happy to say my life has changed dramatically. I think the biggest thing for me with the DNA stack report thing is like, the term itself doesn't really open up anything new. Like you read it and I imagine it's literally what it is. It's a report about your DNA that tells you stuff. Cool. But it's not like the the energy, the true energy, whatever report that reveals, it's like, it's not illuminating, it doesn't tell the reader anything new. And so you wouldn't suffer at all if you said like what eventually became the first, DNA report or like DNA study test, whatever. And by keeping it simple, you're not drawing attention to it, and the reader can focus more on the argument itself. Then later on, when you're talking about the product, you can introduce the DNA stack report. But right now, it feels like you're talking about the product in the middle of like trying to make the argument to justify why someone should care about it. And so if you can split those things a little bit, I think it makes it feel easier to care and then tell people to buy it. Yes. Also, motility is a college word, not a 7th grade level one. So today my energy allows me to go hard from about 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week without ever getting tired. I have 0 down moods, mentally stable, and nothing can dent me. Nothing. Ever. My sleep's off the charts. I can literally sleep 5 hours and get good rest. Such good rest that it feels like I slept for days. 1 cup of coffee does more now than a whole pot used to. I love this. That's a good line. It's crazy to think that this is what normal feels like. This is an interesting notion as well. How important is this? If someone came to me and said, here's $1 million and you can either know this or have the million, I would keep this knowledge. It's made that much of a difference in my life. Now you have the opportunity to duplicate the entire DNA stack report I built by getting your own custom report for just $5. Here's how it works. Old way, new way, whatever. So for this part, I feel like you're doing a lot in just a little bit of space. I like that you're spending the time to talk about the transformation. So before it was this, here's why, yada, 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 process, research, cool. And then now, here's what my life is different. Maybe it's like a formatting thing. A lot of this feels like a little hyperbolic. And so maybe for some of these lines, if you dial it back a little bit, it then accentuates like the profundity of the bigger claims. So like if you say like my sleep, like I sleep like a baby. Even if I get 5 hours of sleep, I feel ready for the day. Cool. That's not like crazy. And then 1 cup of coffee now does more now than a whole pot used to. It's just like choosing when you're going to go hard with the copy so that when you do, it stands out rather than just being like a sea of like really big claims. Okay. And then this line too, I delete the here's how important this is, and I leave this as kind of like a summary. So like indent down. Don't make it feel like a part of the list. And just say, if someone came to me and said, you can here's $1 million, or and offered to give me $1 million, but like I didn't know this anymore, I would say no to $1 million because it made that much of a difference. I think that's a cool way to like transition into now you have the opportunity. So FAQ, did you ask for FAQ critique? Down to FAQ. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think this is good for now. FAQ looks pretty standard, so yeah. Next. So this next one is a product page for Alex's CV resume masterclass. Who's this from? So I can say. This is from Zozong Uval. I'm not sure. So it's for Alex's CV masterclass. Cool. Hey guys, thank you all for everything you've done. Generally can't say thank you enough. Thank you. Thank you for being a Patreon subscriber. I know this might sound cocky, pretentious, but after reading this product page, can you tell me, does it worthy of being the official product page for the masterclass? And if not, what/where can I improve to get it up there? I don't think I can be there for the stream, so this will help me a lot. Okay, I'm stop yapping now. Without further ado, here's the product page for, love the transition, give them a show, a masterclass on crafting the perfect CV/resume. So top of the product page, let me just pull this up so you guys can see what this looks like. It's in here somewhere. So this is what this looks like now. So first is the top of the product page, which is like this. Cool. So an average person has only 6 seconds to create a lasting impression on their future employer. Most people, unfortunately, fail to do so. A good CV/resume doesn't list all of the reasons why you're the best candidate, but it shows your future employer a compelling narrative that makes you stand out from the crowd. In this 2+ hour masterclass, Alex lays out his golden rules for CVs and resumes, and then shows you exactly how to structure your own, even if you don't have much, if any, experience. Okay. I think we can punch this up a bit. I think conceptually, I like what you're doing. You're kind of stating the importance, the consequences of not doing so, what you really need to be doing, and then why this thing is going to give you the answer to this. Cool. But let's blow this up. I think instead of saying and stating this fact, an average person only has 6 seconds to create a lasting impression. We could there's a lot of ways we could present this to make it feel bigger, make it feel more challenging or something. You could say something like, you only have 6 seconds to prove you're worthy of the job. Can you do it, or do you think you can do it? Most people, unfortunately, can't. And then transition into 6 seconds is like the average amount of time employers spend looking at a CV before they decide whether or not to even consider someone for a job. The best CVs, and as it turns out, the best CVs don't list all the reasons why they're the best candidate. They do this other thing instead. In this 2-hour masterclass, Alex lays out blah, 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 blah. I think if you do that, you're adding a little bit of tension at the beginning. And 1, you're compelling the person to keep reading. But 2, you're framing it as in this binary of okay, can you do this thing? If you can't do this really hard thing, you need to keep reading. And so it's kind of a reason to keep going on. It's more interesting too. It's more fun. My general feeling about using facts in copy, so things like an average person only has 6 seconds to create a lasting impression, is that they can be useful, but it's almost always the case that you need to reframe them so that you have a point of view on them. It's not, you can't present them neutrally. You need to say this is good, or this is bad, or this is a challenge you're facing. Contextualize the fact so that your reader can understand what it is they need to do with them. And in this case, it's, hey, this is the massive challenge you're facing right now. Do you think you can handle it? Okay, if you can't, then you need our help. All right, so bottom of the product page. So that's this part right here. Actually, we don't have one, so great. It's already better. The best damn resume your interviewer will ever see, probably. I hope that's a real quote. After spending years as a copywriter, having been on both sides of the job market, Alex has developed the rules and frameworks that, when applied, result in his CV completely crushing, or not outperforming, but completely crushing the job market. The market success rate was 5.5%. His was 80%. I imagine that this picture was like shit. So I don't know how you intend to use that picture, but I imagine that you're looking like you're kind of adding a picture here. If that's the case, this is fine. If this is not the case, then I don't know what this picture is doing. So either you need a caption, you need to have like a lead into the picture and have this be like answer a question that you're talking about in the copy, because otherwise this is a really busy image. And so I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at like these circle things, the amount of money. Is this a lot of money? I don't know. Or whatever. So just keep that in mind. So where were we? Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to immediately get jobs like these, I guess this, if you're just starting out as a newbie copywriter. But what we can promise is this. If you follow the steps that Alex already laid out for you, then you will have a significantly higher chance of getting your dream job compared to what you're doing right now. In this 2 hours of video, you're going to discover, we got a bunch of bullets. So if you could only remember one thing from this entire masterclass, it is, I'd say it should be, or you must remember X. One way of kind of making this sort of bullet more interesting is don't just have like the one line. You could have like the underscore be the number of letters or similar number of letters as the word you're revealing. You could write XXXXX. You could use like a bunch of like, right in here. You could do like this, crazy characters or something. Oops. Make it like, you want to make it easy for the person to imagine what it is you're implying or how you would finish the thing. So like, oh, can I fill in the blank with this? In the first sales letter or product page that we reviewed today, someone had the thing where they had the first letter of every word and then everything else was like asterisks or like underscores or something. So you didn't know what the rest was, but then my reaction to it on stream was like, oh, what is it? I was trying to like figure it out, whatever. You're getting the reader to engage more with your copy. Way better. So the number one misconception that copywriters make when writing a CV, seriously, it's the basis of copywriting itself, but for some reason, copywriters are afraid to do it when it comes to their resumes. This would benefit from I feel like this is okay, this second bullet, but maybe a how to avoid or the number one misconception copywriters make that kills their CVs. We need a little bit of polarity to this. So how bad is this mistake or how bad is this misconception? What does it do? What's the penalty if you don't understand it? I like this part though. For some reason, we don't do this. And the reason why this is cool is because it's like, if you understand copywriting, you already know this information. And so it's just a matter of reminding you or unlocking it from within yourself. And so it makes it, you're saying it's something that's accessible, but it's really, really important and it'll set you apart if you do this. So that's really good. The mindset you should adopt when writing your CV. This is pretty whatever. I think, what does the mindset do? What does it change? What happens if you don't have the mindset? Where does it come from? Is it a copywriting mindset? Is it a different mindset? You could like call it like the sailor's mindset or something, because really hardcore sailors have this mindset and copywriters don't have it, but they do this one special unique thing. Just a way to make it sort of stand apart, because lots of people have lots of mindsets, and probably there are many mindsets we could adopt when writing our CVs. Why is this one? Why should I feel like you're talking about something that's special? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. So everything that's wrong with the conventional CV. the exact one that Alex said was utter shit. This would be stronger if you just said why the conventional CV is, quote, utter shit. It's simpler, and you are then get to center this utter shit thing. It's a very extreme claim. Warning, your teacher, family, and friends are unintentionally tanking your chance of getting an interview by giving you advice. Do this instead. Cool. If your CV looks like this, then you're doing something wrong. One thing I'm noticing a lot is that most of these are about, okay, if it looks like this, then bad. If you're this advice, then bad. Make sure you're kind of spreading these out a little bit or changing up the tonality so it doesn't feel like the only advice you're giving is about what other people are saying, or if it looks like this, then bad. Pareto principle is fine. The 12 words that allow you to write a CV that's 1,454% better than the average markets. This is great. But I think better than the average market, than the market's average is, it's not clear what that means. What I think you're talking about is Alex's job getting rate is better than the average CV, and so that's the percentage. What if you said the 12 words that allow you to have a 1,000% higher chance of landing a job? I think it's way more clear, and the benefit is much more tangible. A deep dive into Alex's $100,000 plus resume with a full explanation of what was going on through his head while writing it. This is close to me, but I think what you're really trying to say is Alex explains his resume, but the important part is he explains the philosophy behind the $100,000 resume. And so what the real benefit to the reader is not, or to the viewer, is not just a bloop, the resume, it's understanding the blueprint that got them there so that they can replicate it themselves. And so what you need to focus on is the understanding bit. Deep dive feels jargony at this point. If someone says they did a deep dive on something, I don't know how thorough that is. And so I would choose a different term here that speaks more to the why, the how, the whatever. Because right now it's just a deep dive into a resume with this explanation. I think this is the actual important part of the sentence or of the bullet. Oops. Even if you don't have as much experience as Alex, if you apply these 12 golden rules, your chance of landing clients will be significantly higher. This is not punchy enough for me. I think it's too long. And so you could definitely boil this down to something that's a lot better. Only way your prospect will hire you I don't know what this means or what the implication is. Do I need to know that? How they're going to hire me? Can I just have a banging CV and just apply to jobs? If the answer is no, then what do I need to do? What do I need to understand? Why do I need to understand it? When you should not send this type of CV, it will seriously ruin your chances. This could be a why there are different jobs call for different types of CVs. Just gonna skim the rest. I think this is an interesting one. I like the idea of making your recruiter love your CV. This part feels a little hyperbolic, and so I try to tune this down a little bit or have it be something that seems more realistic, because the reader needs to think that this is achievable. Then a 5-minute trick that could exponentially increase your credibility to your future employer. Hint, countless companies in different industries all use this exact trick. I like this part, and I like what this is trying to do. I would name the industries, first of all. And I wouldn't say countless companies. I'd say like savvy employees in like tech companies or in whatever like favorable, like desirable industry are using this exact trick to land, 6-figure plus jobs. Make it specific so that people are like, oh yeah, I want to land that. Because if the industry you're talking about is like fast food service, or do you want to be using the tricks that they're using? Probably not. Sneaky ways to potentially gain a competitive advantage against your competitor, even though you're less qualified for the job. I think this is the real idea. So center this part, how to get the job even when you're the least qualified candidate. Bam. Ever been stuck staring at a document, not knowing where to start writing your CV? Follow these steps to get things started. This feels really basic after hearing all this other stuff. And so if this is a really important idea to you, I would work that into like this write-up over here at the top. Mark Ford's thoughts on all right, I like the last one too. So I think to improve this copy needs to be like a bit longer before you just go into bullets. I would talk a little bit more about like the reader and their journey and like them. Like, you're applying to jobs. It's really, really hard. You're getting turned down most of the time. I mean, going back to here, before they've even read the whole thing. That makes getting a job hard, which makes your life hard, which means you'll be poor forever. And that sucks. But after spending years as a copywriter and having been on both sides of this really tough thing that you, the reader, are now experiencing, Alex has developed this thing that's really going to help. And here's like kind of why or whatever. And I think that's getting into like this sort of logic here. And, the result is if you do this stuff that we've just talked about, then you'll have this. And that's great. And then you're going to discover in the video, whatever. But you need to make the full argument in the body text because most people are not going to read all of these bullets to understand everything that's like there. So definitely work on the bullets. But to me, more importantly, build out this body copy section because right now it's not robust enough to like substantiate the sale on its own or to justify the sale. Next piece of copy. So we got week 9, high ticket things. This is from Mikhail. Cool. So context for the critique. It's the email he's sending to his client's email list. He's running a high ticket drop shipping coach program. Cool. His reader is beginners who have tried AliExpress drop shipping in the past but failed and are looking for a new way to make money online, so they want new. His one idea is that one dropshipping page can change your life for the worse. Well, one high ticket dropshipping product can change your life for the better. Cool. So comparing the two. The offer is this mentorship program. The action is to click the link at the end of the email to learn directly from the mentor. Cool. So, subject line, the AliExpress dropshipping lie. If you've watched a video from any low-ticket dropshipping guru online, you've probably heard this. It only takes one winning product to change your life. Ew! I just get mad reading that. Change your life to what? An ultimate headache? You see, when dropshipping $30 shitty Chinese products, you're making like $10 profit per sale, if you're lucky. So if you want to make, for example, $5,000, you would need 500 people to click buy now. Not only is that difficult to do, anyone who owns a business knows that the more people who have to deal with, the more problems you're likely to face. I think probably the more people you have to deal with, the more problems you're likely to face. 500 buyers also means 500 potential refunds and chargebacks. And don't think for a second the chances of that happening are slim. When you sell cheap fidget toys from China that look like nothing like the AliExpress image, you're basically asking for it. What makes high-ticket drop shipping any different? You could still get unhappy customers, right? Not really. First off, you're partnering with and selling products from American brands, meaning higher quality control and stricter manufacturing regulations. The chance of defects getting shipped to your customer are slim to none. Second, if I sell a $4,000 product, for example, I can charge up to $1,000 on average. I can profit up to $1,000 on average just from a single sale. So all I have to do is put all my focus into one purchase, make the customer experience the best I possibly can, and reap the same rewards of 50 to 100 sales on a regular dropshipping store. Not to mention, since I'm putting all the effort into making one customer happy, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to get an amazing review. And the more sales I get, the more 5 stars reviews will start piling in like clockwork. And if we're being completely honest here, you don't often see positive feedback from a low-ticket dropshipping store. If you can do, and if you do, you can tell they're clearly fake. But that's enough rambling for today. The lesson here is one AliExpress dropshipping product can change your life for the worse, while one high-ticket dropshipping product can change your life for the better. So if you're someone who doesn't want to have to pop 5 Tylenols a day from all the constant headaches dealing with unhappy customers, click here to learn directly from me how to dropship the right way. Peace, Anthony. Okay, cool. I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 more after this. So you're safe. Don't worry. So this feels very long for what it is, but I sort of kind of like the idea of what you're trying to do here. And also, there's definitely some room for improvement, restructuring something. So the basic setup of this is like, okay, basically, it's like if you're in this sort of like sphere, you've heard this thing. But really, this thing sucks because you have to deal with all these people, and poor quality products means lots of chargebacks, which means big headaches for you. So it's going to be, the thing sucks because it's really painful. Now, the alternative is to do this other thing. And if you do this other thing, it's easier because the products are better, happier people, you can be better. Great. It takes a really long time to say that. And so I think there's a lot of like cutting you can do. Stuff like the ill. I just get mad reading that. An ultimate headache. So for example, like one like really easy way to like do this quickly is to say like, okay, if you watch any video from any like drop shipping guru, I think I'd like delete this too, just because you don't want to give away what you're going to say unintuitively or unintentionally. So if you watch a video from any dropshipping guru online, you've probably heard this. It only takes one winning product to change your life. What they don't say is that if you follow their technique, most of the time you're changing your life to the ultimate headache. Because when you're dropshipping $30 shitty Chinese products, you're barely making a profit, and you have to deal with bazillions of refunds and chargebacks. Why? Because when you sell cheap stuff that look nothing like the image, people get mad when they don't get what they asked for or what they paid for. But it doesn't have to be like that. What if instead of selling, shitty $30 fidget spinners, you were selling whatever the product is? Give an example. Like I know that $4,000 for a blank sounds like a lot, but when you only have to sell X number, a few to make however much money you need to make, you can spend more time on like making sure it's a quality product, on making sure the customer experience is great, yada yada yada. Which means less sales happier customers and less headaches for you. Blah, 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 blah. The lesson here is, not all sales are created equal. And high ticket drop shipping products can change your life really for the better. So if you want to learn how to focus on making a couple easy sales as opposed to making 500 just to have more headaches, click this link to learn directly from me, because I'll teach you how to not live in pain forever. Great. That's a lot shorter, and I think it's a lot clearer than what this is doing right now. Okay. Next one. 1 second. So I think that was this. Okay, cool. So 2 more. What's your username, owner? I want to make sure I get to yours since you're here. And while you're saying that, I'm just going to keep going. So this next one is from Mercy. Have mercy on this. Let's see. Did I pull yours up? Okay. I'll pull yours up too. Cool. So this next one is from Mercy. It's a community sales page, monthly subscription community for real estate agents, mini course, plus community, plus live call, Q&A, live events. Cool. This is very long, so I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing. But let's just kind of go until we hit a point, stopping point. Signed 10 plus listings in my first 30 days. Tanya Lee, unique name, community member. Says proven blueprint community, how to break through your earning ceiling as a real estate agent as early as in 30 days. This is how we tripled our sales, doubled signed listings, and made ourselves recession-proof real estate agents. Button, join now, find out how. $10,000 members and growing fast. Join today and let's start your real estate journey together. I think all the things you're saying here are fine. I think make sure that you have a lot of clarity in what the one thing you're selling is, or what your sort of argument is for someone joining this, because already I can tell what you've said is that you want people to subscribe to this community. Then it's how to break through your earning ceiling. And the way it looks like you're trying to fit those things together is by calling it a blueprint community. And so it's not just the community, but you're going to get the blueprint that's going to help you do the thing you really want. But then also we're going to attach this other stuff to it. And then the supporting thing, and this is where I can tell it might be a little tough, is you're telling me you want to sell a community, but then what you're talking about here is how you've tripled sales, you've doubled listings, made ourselves recession proof. And that's about what that person is individually getting. And so if you're going to sell the community based on the results the person's going to get, there's going to be this point where it's are you selling the mini course or are you selling all this other bonus stuff? And you can definitely sell all these things. You can sell all those things as a bundle, but the framing around that and what the primary selling proposition is going to be needs to be super, super tight. Because if you're not clean about it, it's going to feel messy and kind of all over the place, which will mean that there's less clarity on the reader's part about what it is they're buying and more friction, yada, yada, yada. So we need to be really careful. So let's get into it. Start your journey join today. So let's start your real estate journey together. The other thing is we need to think about who our target audience is. When I see let's start your real estate journey together, it sounds like you're talking beginners. But when I see, we triple our sales, we doubled signed listings, we made ourselves recession proof. That sounds like someone who's already established and maybe doing well and just wants to do better. So are we talking to beginners? Are we talking to established people? We're talking to both. That language is going to matter, because if we're mixing back and forth, who this feels relevant to is going to change and get messy, and again, more friction. Diverse community, diverse opportunity, sure. Discover how you can win clients' trust. This goes here. So impress clients with easy wins, make it easier for clients to remember you, master referral skills for yourself. From absolute zero to diamond, this community will give you the support you need to take control of your success. Okay, so it looks like you're trying to talk to everybody, and this is why it gets messy. So for new agents, haven't done anything yet, no problem. Never feel scared, lost, confused again. This is what they're getting. Cool. So I'm just going to say, I think a potential solve or way to get your coherence here, focus on like the community aspect of it, and then frame these things through like by being part of this community you get or helps you foster or whatever. Because if you have a community in which you have these interest groups for people at different stages, that makes more sense than being like, hey person, do you want to triple your sales, but also let's start your journey together. Come up with like your big platform basically, and then under the platform you can serve people's needs in different ways. That way, when you talk about things like diverse community, diverse opportunity, that doesn't feel like a jump from let's start your journey or triple your sales. And you're welcome. Let's see, one second, got a text. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually at work right now, technically. So, gotta respond to work tasks. So, you probably won't find a private community like this anywhere else. Here's why, and how you can reserve your own spot and get members-only resources. A major real estate opportunity could be at hand, but if you're interested, you must act quickly. But the big problem is that many agents only hope and don't act. They hope to discover the one secret somewhere that will make them $1 million a year, that tomorrow will be different from today, to get a lucky client who can refer you to rich friends. For whatever reason they might have, they never act in the right direction. But you're not these types of people. Your first correct action was realizing there's a problem, seeking a solution, and you are in the right place right now. But what's the next step? Which direction should you go? Wouldn't it be great if there were a roadmap to guide you? You and I were given a roadmap to become real estate agents, but why not a proven roadmap to successful real estate agents? Probably to become successful real estate. To us, this is downright unfair. We were given a specific roadmap to become real estate agents. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I see. So what you're saying is like, it's really easy to become a real estate agent, but like none of like the trainings, whatever, actually teach you how to become successful. Cool. Don't we deserve that? Yes, we do. And that's where things get messy. The real estate industry is easy to get into, but this is one of the hardest industries to be successful. I feel like this is a key. This might be like the crux of like your argument. And so I think I'm probably going to like stop here. But what I would say is like, there are a lot of different things you're trying to say. And there are lots of different people you're trying to appeal to. But what this boils down to is you have a community. And the reason this community exists is because even though real estate is really easy to get into, it's one of the hardest industries to be successful in. And that difficulty exists at every level. So whether you're a beginner or you're a veteran or you're someone with a team of brokers, there's probably a level at which you're struggling. And so you created this community with resources because you want to fill that gap of uncertainty, of wanting, of not knowing how to get to that next level that people never taught you. And I think if you bring it up to that level first, then you can start speaking to these individual audiences about these like problems, and it's going to feel coherent because you're coming from the perspective of, no matter where you are, you've had to go through this, and it's hard, and you feel alone, and you feel whatever. And speaking to those feelings, I think, can be a good way of speaking to everyone without it feeling kind of random or off target. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next one. This is a constellations masterclass. Ooh. So this is also for, I think, the studying copywriting masterclass. Oh, wait, no. One second. Let's see what this is. Finding the constellations, the masterclass in studying copy. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is the studying masterclass. So their reader is someone who knows of copy that, great, and already knows that reading copy is vital. Idea is use the system to improve your copy and get bigger clients, great. I like that there's and do this other thing, understanding that improving your copy is for another reason. Offer is buy the thing, action, click to buy. And so this looks like you're doing some structuring, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go through all of this, but it's really cool that you have, you've actually written down and thought about, how to structure this and where the traffic is coming from. These are really important questions that everyone needs to think about because, if you are coming to our website from Discord, where we have people talking about our stuff all the time, you're going to be a different type of reader than someone coming from YouTube, or maybe they just stumbled upon one of our videos and happened to click our website and is randomly browsing and seeing our stuff for the first time. And so understanding that these are two different audiences can help you frame your copy. And so that's great that you think about that. The copy I'm reading right now is from our patrons right now. I think every week we read patron copy that's submitted. So yes, it is patron only copy. But everyone's welcome to come to the streams and chat through stuff, and I try to answer as many questions as I can. We do, but today I'm shockingly alone. So let's get into the copy. Got the same name. If you find yourself saying, how should I study copy? What should I look for? Where do I find copy to study? Then this is for you. In this masterclass, Rod reveals the easiest and quickest way for any beginner or intermediate copywriter to break down any piece of copy, all by using his secret 3-step copy study system. This certain system is what allowed Sean to sell millions with his financial copy, Alex to own multiple successful e-com businesses, and Rod to work on Nike's advertising. With Rod's 3-step copy system, you'll be able to spot conceptual, hidden language and patterns that only the top 1% of expert copywriters can see. Discover exactly why certain pieces of copy go on to sell millions, and while others fail in bankrupt businesses. And discover what triggers human emotion in copy, how to evoke certain physiological responses from your readers on command. I don't know if I say how to do that, but I love it. Presenter, blah, 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 blah. Cool, purchase button. Let's see. What do I think about this? This is, okay. I feel like the generic sort of call out to the reader, if you ever experience yada yada, is good. This one feels a little bit, maybe like the writing feels a little bit clunky, so I would want this to feel smoother. Take that as you will. And then it goes directly to, in this masterclass, yada, 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 Rod reveals. What I'm not getting is like, why is this important? Like, you may be having these questions, but why is it important that you get that answer? what happens for you if you do say yes and you buy the course? Is that career growth? Is that whatever? Is that just spending less time studying, feeling more enriched by your studying, feeling like you did a better job? And I know that you have thought about this because at the top of the document you talk about, and getting clients part. So definitely just go back and work some of that into this, because when you go straight from, have you ever asked yourself this question to, here's how to do this technical thing? It feels a little mechanical, and that's not necessarily bad if your readers are very high awareness. But given that not everyone loves us, respects us, wants to marry us, most people are going to need a little bit more than just hey, is this you? Buy our product, to really feel like they want to buy the product and be in a good place doing that. This is kind of cool that you're showing the different ways in which that success, doing this has played out for everyone else. And so if you do this, you can be able to do these different things in diverse circumstances. That's great. But this is still about us, the people selling, and not about the reader and what they'll be able to do. And so we need to take a step or take some time to work out what's in it for the reader if they spend the time to do this or take the time to buy this. Okay. So Discover Rod's 3-level ITO system. I don't know how. I don't remember exactly this is how I frame the system, but it's hilarious to me that there's 2 different acronyms that we've had in these 2 different product pages for this. Anna says, by the way, Rod, I got my first client on Upwork, so my account's set up. What do you recommend to get more clients? What I mean by that, should I just keep doing the same approach I was doing before or not? First off, congrats. That's a huge win, and I think we're often so focused on big success, whatever, that we don't take the time to acknowledge your first time doing anything is a big deal. And so I'm very, very happy for you. I think my first impulse is say whoa, if what you're doing is working, then keep doing that. But I also don't know. Did you send 100 different job applications and this is your first one that worked? If so, maybe consider changing it up. But it's definitely try to knock this job out of the park, get a good review, see if you can continue to work with that person beyond the scope of this project, and then when you have time, do continue to keep outreaching. Yeah, big W, exactly. Congrats, dude. Proud of you. Back to the copy. So discover the system for studying copy, unlock the secrets behind any high converting piece of copy, and skyrocket your growth of copywriting. This is what I'm talking about. You need a hint of that up in this part. Is there a way to okay, whatever. I like that you formatted this, but it's a little hard to read. This is not your problem. This is my problem. So this masterclass is perfect beginner season copywriters like. If you're looking to quickly improve your copy or land bigger clients willing to pay you more, this is for you. I would just kill this line. Don't tell me it's perfect. Yada yada yada. Or maybe you could end with this, but never lead with oh, this is perfect for you, person, without explaining why or hinting at why. In this class, Rob will teach you the system, how you can use breakdown copy, remix their ideas, and adapt them to your industry and get massive results from your own copy straight away. I think you can say without worrying about plagiarism. I think that's fine. You could say something about how to swipe without stealing. Rosman uses a secret system to remix a great piece of copy for years now, and it's why Nike trusted him to work on their World Cup commercials and ads. Similar thing as before, it's I didn't rate the copy for the ads for the World Cup, and so and it was only for one of the ads, and so I would shy away from using language like this because it's people can argue about the veracity of it. Yeah, so I would just kill that, honestly. I'd also be careful about like the word remix. While like I would agree that it's like true and like swiping is a very common practice, there might be some people for whom that word may sound like a way of like getting around writing your own stuff. Like if you're remixing, are you not coming up with original stuff, whatever? Because probably what a lot of people want is to be able to just write their own copy without having to be looking for stuff all the time. And so remixing is like a cool trick, or I guess swiping is the word we would typically use. It's like talking about borrowing stuff or techniques or whatever, but just be a little careful about that. It doesn't sit great here for me, but you can maybe make it work. It shares this burner file method for plus your most bang for your buck copy to study for being a copy. Okay, we got some bullets. Those two things you should always steal. Cool. Where is this literal component? Don't know what to look for when studying copy. All you need is 5 plus 1 question, so save you. I like these bullets. Yeah, actually, like no complaints about these bullets. You'll discover what's under the hood, allowing your copy to massively improve. Clients will want to hire you. More clients will want to hire you. They'll refer you to their peers, and they'll offer you wads of cash so you stay working for them. Plus, buy this thing today and get an extra bonus. Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, so I like this a lot. I'm not quite ready to buy this, but I think if you go back and punch this part up, kind of using like some of the stuff you have here, I think this would be in a really good space. So definitely, please go back, make edits, and so we can see this again. Thank you. Let's see. Big W. Judah asks, where can I learn more about e-com copywriting for free? I feel like we might have some videos about that on the channel. If you go like our videos and search e-com, we might have some stuff on it. Alex tends to talk about it a lot because that's his context for copywriting. And so almost any video with Alex like breaking down like pages and stuff tends to be e-com pages. So that's a big one. Definitely go to our Discord. You can ask questions. You can tag Alex in said questions. I feel like there's quite a bit of writing about or like discussions about e-com. And so if you have like specific questions, that's a good resource as well. I know you said free, but Alex also has a bunch of like e-com resources specifically on our Patreon, and that will get you access to some of our masterclasses too, which I think will touch on a lot of e-commerce subjects. So if you want to drop $20 and just like binge our stuff for a month, like that's another good way of doing it, even if it's like a one-time thing. And also just generally like our Patreon's like super sick, and you can have your copy be reviewed on here, said e-com copy. So like, I generally think it's worth it. It's a steal, but if you don't have $20, then don't spend it. You're welcome. Other question: do you think ChatGPT-4 is a good content writer? Depends on what kind of content you're writing about, and what your standard of good is. I think it is passable in a lot of contexts, and if you are willing to do editing on it, then like it can be a pretty good place to like start. I know a lot of people use it successfully, so I wouldn't say no, but like in terms of like, is it going to produce content that can stand alone and be interesting or whatever? Probably not, but it's a fine tool to use. All right, next and probably last one for today. Where are we? Right, this one right here. So this is Wise Man's Treasure, a masterclass on studying copy. Is this again the same? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so number 3 for the same masterclass today. Wise Man's Treasure, a masterclass on studying copy. Do you find yourself staring blankly at a page of copy, trying to glean information from it, but struggling to find what to even look out for? Maybe you learn to use a specific word, but find yourself unable to dig any deeper. It's almost like you're colorblind. You know that something is there, but you can't discern the gold from the copper. Well, fortunately from you, this masterclass contains a simple to understand method that will be the lens you need to spot these hidden treasures. Join Rod as he teaches you the same method that caused the biggest acceleration of his copywriting career. Deliverable, whatever. I like this. I think the writing here is quite good, and your use of metaphor is on point. The one thing I'll say is I feel like there's not a ton about studying copy, and so this could use more clarity on what is it that this person's getting, because this kind of needs to stand alone. I know it says a masterclass in studying copy, but in here, okay, what are you doing? Just so someone can know, okay, I am purchasing a masterclass about studying copy that's going to walk me through this, just so that they're super clear on it, because we don't want someone to buy something and then get something that was different from what they expected. So yeah. And I think just if we're critiquing the writing, I'd say this is cool, same as before, the call out, hey, is this you? I'd cut this. So it's almost sometimes it feels like you're colorblind. You know that something is there, but you can't quite discern the gold from the copper, gold, dirt, whatever. And then I think here is where I'd get into whatever. Fortunately for you, this masterclass holds a simple to understand method that, and I think here's where you say, that will teach you how to study copy in a way that lets you see all those insights, resources, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Then join Rise, he teaches you the same method. And you could say something that same method is what caused the biggest acceleration in Rod's copywriting, is what he says. Rod says caused the greatest acceleration in his copywriting career. Just make sure this part has that, we're going to teach you this thing. And yeah, that's fine. Peek at the secrets of top copywriters. On a well-written piece of copy, every single component is there for reasons that have been deeply studied and documented by countless others beforehand. The results of this research is buried within each copy you see. Companies all around the globe have spent unimaginable fortunes collectively to try and figure out the exact wording and structure required to push potential customers into buyers. That's a lot of hard work, none of which you have to do. Just 1 second. This is really funny to me, not because it's not true, but also knowing copywriters at some of these companies, the amount of exactitude and precision and stuff that goes into some of this copy is not what I think we sometimes think about when we're thinking about the copy we're writing. None of which you have to do. All you need is the ability to deconstruct and analyze what they've done, and you will effectively peek at the secrets that they worked so hard to obtain, which is exactly the weapon this masterclass aims to give you with the 3-layer LCS method. With it, you will have a clear direction on what to look out for when analyzing a new piece of copy. It's like going on a bank heist, knowing exactly where the vault and its weak spot is, with no guards or cameras. That's a cool analogy. Except, it's completely legal. Okay. This is great. I like this. I think this part could be shortened a little bit, but I like the way that you have this it's really complicated, complex, whatever. But you don't have to actually do any of that hard work because yada, 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 because this thing is going to do. I feel like maybe some of this can be mixed up a little bit. None of which you have to do, because there's a simple 3-step method that will allow you to deconstruct, analyze, blah, 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 without having to work so hard, without whatever. Just centering this idea top, and so it's like not just kind of sprung at the bottom. So what am I getting exactly? The single most reliable and fastest way of climbing your copywriting career. The teacher that knows you the most is you. I don't know what this means. Well, I mean, like, I know what this means. I don't know. It's not clear to me immediately how that's connected to the idea, which either means that this is fluff or that you need to elaborate on what this means a little bit so it's more clear. Yeah. So save time by remixing old copy and convert it to work for you. The same sort of thing as before is like, I think when you lead with remixing without talking about what it is, it can sound like plagiarizing or just like slightly editing, whatever. But like the last one, it's a completely valid thing. So just being a little bit cautious or sensitive about when we're using that word. But I think that this part is like, discover how the Wall Street Journal utilized this, like, did this thing, like remixed an ad from the 1800s to generate $2 billion in sales. I think that sounds better, and that sounds like more confident in saying, by leading with you remixing. If you say, hey, well, the Wall Street Journal did this thing and got $2 billion in it, you can use the same technique to save time and generate profits for yourself or whatever. I think that's flipping it makes it sound better. Discover how to actually find good, relevant copy worth analyzing with proven track records. Great. And if you want to add like a, that's easy, that saves time, that's like delivered to your inbox, I think that's part of what I talked about. That's great. So it's like relevant thing and bonus, it's easy. The best type of copy to focus on as a beginner to get the most bang for your buck in time investment. Sure. The 3 layers of copy and how to study each one, as well as how they all connect to something bigger than the sum of its parts. This is like all true. This feels like body copy though. And I think it's like this part, as well as how they all connect to create something bigger than the sum of their parts. Like if you frame this as more as like, why yada yada yada, why understanding these 3 things is like so much bigger than understanding them individually or something like that, like in a prettier way. I think framing it that way makes it feel more new, novel, punchy, relevant, whatever. The 6 basic questions to ask for analyzing the first layer of copy. I think make this more universal, because if they don't know what the first layer of copy is, they don't know why the 6 basic questions are important. But if you say, 6 basic questions you need to ask every time you look at a piece of copy. Easy, simple, urgent. Understand why certain parts of copy are where they are. I'd break that into like structure. So I'd say like, understand why you must your copy this way or whatever. And then peek at the most secretive parts of copy as you find out how all the different pieces play into each other. I don't know what secretive parts of copy are, because if it's on the page, it's not. Anyone can see it. You can say like the hidden lessons or the hidden techniques or something. But I would definitely need more clarity here as to like what you mean. This feels similar to like this idea. But if you wanted to talk about, synergy or something, I think that's legit. Watch Rod as he analyzes their arch nemesis copy. Turn your rival secrets into your weapons. I think this is funny. I don't know how many people have their own rival secrets, but from a brand perspective, I would be comfortable having a bullet like this as long as the rest of the bullets are good, which they mostly are. And a Q&A section answering live viewers questions such as, you actually get good at swiping? very relevant. What's the number one thing to keep in mind in marketing? Why it's important to analyze design and how it will set you apart. These are great questions. Order now to get access to all this valuable information. Stay with you for as long as you are a copywriter. I think there's a better way to end the sentence. Because the benefit to somebody is not is there. Hopefully, someone will see the benefit of this beyond just the end of their career. It should be like, get access to all this information. That will help you take your career to the next level. That will help you save time studying. That will help you learn deeper insights. That will help you make more money, generic, whatever. This isn't bad, but it feels almost like a kind of throwaway. You could definitely do better given what I'm seeing in the rest of your writing. P.S. Or, subscribe to our Patreon and get access to an additional 19 plus masterclasses besides this one. Up to you, really. One small tweak is I'd say subscribe to our Patreon to get access to this masterclass and an additional 19 plus masterclasses, just so it's very clear that they are getting this one and more, plus more. I think when you say an additional one besides this one, it's not clear if it's 19 and then this one isn't included in it. So just flip that around for the clarity. The SaaS is perfectly on brand. Love it. But yeah, this is good. And obviously, I said a lot of stuff look at and critique and go back and edit. But this is a great take. If this is your second piece of copy written ever, I have you're gonna go far. So great job. Thank you for telling me to read this. I know you're here. Do you have any questions, Owner, before I hop off? Ugh. Can't think of anything. Great. Thanks for the review on company. Yep. I mean, yeah, now I got to hop from this to researching something very quickly in the next 30 minutes so that I can meet with my boss and pretend that I was doing this the entire day. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to go then. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. If you would like to just chat about stuff, feel free to join the Discord. There's a link in the description of this video, hopefully. If not, it's on all of our videos. If you'd like to see your copy here being reviewed live in front of a huge audience, consider joining our Patreon. And in addition to that, you will get access to all these masterclasses that we've been looking at product pages for today. You'll get a lot of other bonus content, unedited videos and bloopers, behind the scenes, yada, yada, yada. Plus, you'll be supporting us so that we can continue to spend time doing this. Because we love you, but also we have to pay our editor, and he gets cranky when we don't pay him. So, yeah. You guys all have a great day. Tools.